Um, what we're going to do today is to demonstrate how to run a compass survey. This is something that surveyors used to do years ago before the advent of GPS and electronic equipment. So most of our work was done with a transit and compass or a staff compass. Of course, there's quite a history concerning the compass. We're not going to go into great detail about that, other than to say that there's a lot of different types of compasses out there. For instance, the one we're going to be using today is a compass that's built by Warren Knight and is based on the Sipe-Sumner uh, pattern. Mr. Sipe, Henry Sipe, was a surveyor in West Virginia, and he, along with Mr. Sumter, developed this staff compass for use primarily in timberlands. And I first bought one in 1973 after reading a book that was advertised in the PLS magazine about compass land surveying. I got the book, read it, and found about this compass. At that time, you could buy a compass for $350 with a tripod. And George also has, oh, by the way, let me introduce everyone. This is George Evans, a professional land surveyor. How long have you been practicing, George?
I've been surveying since 78.
78. Okay, of course, I'm Virgil, also a licensed surveyor. I've been surveying since 1964. That's 62 years. And this is Carl Evans, George's brother, and he's been surveying for how long?
Since 79.
And also we have Bruce Pago, who is a helper. He's been surveying about 8 years. 8 years. And then, of course, the one doing the filming is Logan Collins, my grandson, and he's been surveying since he was an infant. So we have a lot of qualifications here on the ground this morning at demonstrating this. Now, only a few of us in this group have actually done this type of work before with a compass and chain, but we're qualified to do it, having done it for many years. That's what we'll be demonstrating. Now, that Warren Knight compass is one. There's also, of course, the alidades that are made with plain table alidades, which we don't have. This is a Gurley Transit. If you look inside, there's a 3.5-inch needle, compass needle, inside on this Transit. Could you pick that up, please? It's a Gurley. Now, I packed this Transit for many years, for about 20, no, not 20 years, I'd say 12 years. Packed that Transit and used the compass needle. Later, after going into business for myself, I bought a Wild T0 compass, the Autolite. And this one has an inverted image, and it does not have a compass needle. What it has is a circular compass inside, and this one has inverted image. This is built by Wild Herberg in Germany. Very, very sophisticated compass. I ran many contracts for the U.S. Forest Service using this compass. And my grandson, Logan, who's doing the filming, went behind me on a job that I'd done in the 1980s using this compass. And his closure using GPS was within tenths of feet.
Mm-hmm.
And how far distance were you?
About a quarter mile. Point to point.
And so it was a very fine compass. It's read internally. The compass itself, well, it's read through a micrometer. See the micrometer on the side? This is the micrometer, but it's read, the vernier is read through this glass. The micrometer gives you the minutes. And to drop the compass, they call it drop the compass, is you lower this lever right here, and that drops the compass in place. When you get through your reading, you just tilt the lever back up. And it is, you have to get very used to it because it's a 360-degree compass. It's not put in quadrants. So what it gives you is an azimuth, magnetic azimuth. You have to apply the declination for each shot that you take. So there's a lot of pencil work with it, but it's extremely accurate. Okay, sir. We're not going to demonstrate it today because I don't have a tripod that fits it. It's a special tripod, and I've never been able to find a replacement. Now later, after buying this one in the early, let's see, late 70s, then I bought a brand new one with a direct image from Wild Harbor, and it was a very nice instrument. But when I sold the business, I sold that instrument with it. Okay, so those are the types of course, there are other types of compasses as well, besides these ones that I've mentioned. Now, what we're going to do, of course, well, first of all, let me say that whenever I would get to a site, I kept back in the day, back before cell phones and all the other internet and everything, I would buy a Frimerus. I would also buy from USC and GS an isogonic chart for each year. And from that isogonic chart, I would interpolate my longitude and determine what declination to set off on my compass. And it varied because I was statewide. I might be in eastern part of the state doing a survey, and then I might later be on the western side of the state. And of course, there's great variation in the magnetic lines from state boundary to state boundary, for that matter, throughout the North American continent. So with that isogonic chart, I would determine the declination of the site. And from that, of course, it's an interpolation. I felt that I would get maybe within 5 minutes of true north. Now, another issue that comes up with the declination is years ago, I met a gentleman, his name was Robert Gunter. He was a surveyor for Crown Zellerback, and he worked out of Winfield Parish, and he set up a Polaris shot. And daily, he would go out and set up his instrument on that baseline and shoot the magnetic reading for that day. And from that, and that was every day, and Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all through the week, for an entire year. And from that, he determined what the daily and he would do it throughout the day. He determined what the daily variation of was for the baseline. Now, he found that in the morning, of course, the sun is a star. As it moves from east to west, it pulls the needle. It starts out about 5 degrees plus variation in the morning, and in the evening. At sundown, it's about 5 degrees minus. So you have to apply, if you're going to run a real close type compass line, which I would do with this wild instrument, I had the chart for every hour of the day, and I would subtract or add that adjustment for each reading for that particular shot. And I found out that was okay, but I found out that the best way to use this instrument was to do traversing. And what I would do is I would start from a known corner, and I'd run, say, like a mile north to the woods. And we would use a hand compass and run our tangents about every 400 feet, maybe 500 feet max. And in between, we would set nails. So every 300 feet, we had a point. And what I would do is we would chain the whole distance as we went. Then at the end of the day, as we got through chaining, we usually run a mile a day, I would leapfrog this compass. So all my shots along that line was within an hour and a half at the end of the day. So there was hardly any hourly variation because of that, because all my shots were in a short period of time. So I learned to do that and get more accurate traversing with that. And by setting intermediate points, I could come back to those points and make adjustments to the line in order to blaze meet the line as far as. So learn how to use it carefully. When you're working for mom and pop or doing small surveys, the first time I used this compass, my boss, he was not a believer. He believed that transit was the way to go, but to run a transit line in the woods, even in good timber, it was hard to get a mile. I mean, very difficult to get a mile because you're getting back sights and foresights. Rodman's going back, giving you the backside, coming forward, giving you the backside. You hit a tree, you got to turn the deflection angle to go around the tree. Calculate to get back online. So it's very, very difficult. It's very time consuming. I bought the compass, did a survey of a 40 acres. Started at the southeast corner. This was on at 8 o'clock in the morning. Left the office, drove to the site, which wasn't too far away. Found the section corner, ran a half a mile west on the section line to the quarter corner. Came back to the section corner, ran a half a mile north to the quarter corner. Came back to my 1/8 corner on the south line of the section, ran north, adjusted the corner, ran north a quarter of a mile, turned and went east a quarter of a mile to my midpoint on the east line of the section, and closed the 40 within a foot in temper. And that meant that I ran a mile and a half of line in basically 8 hours with this staff compass and closed within a foot. So when I walked into my office and gave the result to my boss, he almost flipped out. He couldn't believe what we were able to accomplish with a staff compass. Now the beauty about the staff compass, and I'm not going to demonstrate it today, is the fact that you can actually leapfrog. You can set a line of pickets, what we call pickets, and then the compass man can move up ahead. He can wiggle in on line with that line of pickets, set his compass up, take a backside check to be sure he's not too far off. And if he's off a couple of tenths, he can adjust on his foresight. So if he's 2 tenths to the west, whenever he shoots forward to the north or else down line, he can move 2 tenths back to the east and be right on the line. So that's the beauty of this compass. And we also got to the point where we especially when we're adjusting the line, wave in around trees rather than taking the time to offset it. But that was only when we were blazing lines. But if we were doing measurement carefully on long line, we would try to run it with offsets. And I'll demonstrate if we hit a tree today, I'll demonstrate how we did that. And so that's what we're going to demonstrate this morning. And first thing we're going to do is I'm going to set up the compass over on a point that I've established. And I've gone to NOAA and I found out the declination for this area, which is basically 33 degrees plus variation, not degrees, minutes, I'm sorry, 0 degrees, 33 minutes variation. So I'm going to set mag on the compass, then I'm going to turn the angle to the right, which allows for the declination change of 33 minutes to the right. And we're going to set a point, and that's going to be our true north. Now, I've already gone through with the GPS, and I've established a point 200 feet away. So I want to check and see how close my compass is to that. So that's the plan. All right, one thing I failed to mention is the compass man cannot have any metal on him whatsoever. No metal buttons, no cell phone, nothing. Yeah, nothing that is magnetic. Okay. Now, I'm not sure about my glasses. I don't know if that's metal or not. I hope not, but we're gonna see. And then if you're running a compass line, you've got to be at least 30 feet from the fence. Any fence? No power lines, no pipelines, no vehicles within 50 feet. I think we're safe here. So we're gonna see when I set it up in just a moment. Go.
Okay. Well, let me know. I may ride with you. All right.
Doesn't take long to you. Now, the needle, when I set my compass up, I try to set the needle just above the vernier. So if it's below the vernier, I can't tell accurately where it's at. But if I set it just above the vernier, then I can see it pretty accurately. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set, if you see the adjustment here for minutes, I'm going to put this on 0. And then, which means I'm going to set the compass on mag with no declination set off on it right now. See it moving slightly? Okay, now I'm going to get my eyeglass out here because I'm half blind, so used to could do this without, well, I still had an eyeglass, but now it's more difficult. Okay, so on the knob here. All right, I'm going to move it to 0. Okay, splitting the hairs. As Josie Wells says, that guy says, I want to see the hairs on your hand. All right, there we go. All right, that's not quite there yet. A little bit more. Okay, it's on 0. Now I'm locking it. Now, right now, the compass is set on mag north. So I'm going to move my rodman to mag north. Let's see here. Find my, oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. Now, with this knob, I can adjust the whole compass left and right. So I'm going to put it on due north. I have to tilt my compass a little bit for me to be able to see the vernier, see my needle on the vernier. Now, once this is set, all this is not so laborious. It's just getting this set up the first time. All right, now my compass is set on mag north without any declination, set off. Okay, I've set my compass up over the initial point, and I got mag north, and here it's basically about 32, 33 minutes each declination, and I turned an angle to the left for that, and set a point for true north. And now this line we're going to measure. Every 200 feet, set a point. I'm going to come up every 200 feet and get alignment on the next point. And after we set this baseline in for 600 or 800, maybe 1,000 feet, then we're going to shoot it with GPS and see how close it is to the points are to the baseline. Okay. So now we're going to chain it. And our head chainman is George, and our tail chainman will be Carl, and he'll be our rocker. George, I'll hold your first distance for you. Go ahead. You're not there yet. You're not at chain. Go ahead. Got about another 10, 15 feet to go. All right. A little more. A little more. Chain. All right. Come in front of you. Front of you. More. Good. On the ground. All right. Give me a little slack. Clear the tape. Okay. Pull it tight. Good. 100. 0 holding 100. Good. 0 holding 100. Yep. All right. I've got the. We'll check that nail that you've got up there. Make sure. Yeah, adjust your nail. Adjust your nail. All right, I'm moving up. And I move up. All right, so I'm folding down the siding vanes, loosening the knurl knob. I'm gonna move up to my next station. Hang on. Three stuck. Three stuck. Okay. All in three. Okay, let me give you a line. Come to the left 2 inches. Okay, good. Straighten your tape. That's good for line.
Sticking 5.
4 holding 100. Okay.
Hold it 4.
Like that. Like that. Stuck 6. Six holding 100.
Hold it 6.
Stand behind it this way. That's eight. Eight stuck. All right. So what have we done is we've got line and we measured over 1 foot to the west on an offset. Now I'm going to set up on this offset line, and we're going to get line past the tree, and we're going to get back on line. I'm just going to put it right here. That's our right. All right, when I move up here, back on line, then what you're going to do, you're going to put your finger down the same line. Right? You're going to get 90 degrees south. Chain of pin back here for alignment, and chain of pin back here for alignment. Right? That's alignment on. I'm going to move over here. There was a fence corner there I couldn't set up. I have to sit over here on the offset. But there's nothing there. So I'll move over to the corner. We'll get the line due west. And where these my line intersects, bang, that is plus. Then you'll set a pin there, measure, boom, boom, and over. Right? All right, half an inch. Right, a hair more, another half inch. All right, put your chain pin there to hold my line. Now measure over 1 foot. That's hold the line. Give me a double come up. Coming up. Okay, I've just set 2 tuning pins on line out from the corner. Just to hold alignment on it. Now I'm going to move up to the corner, due west, over to that alignment and get the distance off line. We'll get the plus down line from our 800-foot mark and over to the corner to the east. Of course, the note key will show the distance down line plus it shows the distance over to the corner. I'd say 320 acres, all with this compass. It was 40 here, 40 there, 40 here, 80 there, 40 there, all through timber. And we ran it, found corners and set corners and blazed lines. And you'd be surprised how close we were to finding the corners. Once I got on the bearing base, survey. We didn't have prior survey. Someone had been in there surveying it and set corners, but we didn't have a corner to go by. But I mean, a plat to go by. But what was so nice about it, those people that own the property, the last day of the survey, we were out there for 3 or 4 days. Last day of the survey, they cooked steaks for us, the whole crew. That was nice. We enjoyed that. Had a steak dinner.
How'd you get your fuel?
Sir?
How'd you get the GLO things?
I can get it, yeah. Back then you had to order them. They had to come in the mail. That was what you do. That's what Schutz had to do. All right, now what I'm doing here is on my compass, I'm setting 90 degrees west. Look at your plate. It tells you you're going cardinal direction west to the north end of your needle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to go east, you turn it this way, and it's going to say east on the north end of your needle. I'm not there yet, but I'm going to find it. Your marking line, and this is what, when we had working for us, I went out in the country, out there off of Navajo Trail. Those lines were 1/4 mile deep off of the road, off the highway. I went out there with my staff compass, turned the angle to get orientated to the line, got him going with the staff compass for about 300-400 feet in the jungle, and then he went the rest of the way with a hand compass and nailed it. He got also in some yellow jackets. I left him with it. I said, well, you fight the yellow jackets. I don't have to. Huh?
He could die from military.
Oh, could he?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's probably about 200.
All right, let me line you up now. Now I'm lining up the inner point of intersection. All right, George, come left 2 inches. Hold it, right a half inch. Right. That's wrong. Right. Okay. All right, now pull your distance back, Carl. Pull your distance back, Carl. Your 8 holding block. I got 0, tighten up. Okay? Pull back another foot. Take a foot. It's called cut a foot.
20.
Hey, cut a foot. So that's 8 plus 20. You're holding 20?
Holding 20.
0.60. It's 8. 8 plus holding 20.60. Got it. All right. Now he's going to measure there to here. Holding 12. 0 holding 12.
9-1.
Okay. 12.91. All right. So now you've got it tied to the corner. Now you can go back. You missed it. How many feet you missing? How many feet did you miss it? You missed it. Okay. Say 13 feet. So you take 13 feet divided by your 8 what? 820. 820. Okay, that gives you your angle. Right. It also gives you your conversion factor for each 100-foot mark. You can go back to the 200-foot mark. You can take that conversion factor times 200 and tells you adjustment to line. You go back, pull over, put your stake. Go back, pull over, put your stake. Now you mark the line. You don't have to run it twice. Okay, that's how we did it back in the day. Tight. Wrap it up. 100 foot. Get your tape. Maybe. Tied down good and snug. So don't flip out on you like you had it happen a while ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
You let it go. Spring. Tighten that up. Tighten this up. You make a figure 8 out of it, like that. With one hand down, one hand up, you do this. That's called throwing the tape. Do it? 10 years. Yeah, I've done it. You lost the pen.
Didn't I lose the pen? You lost the pen.
So I'm inversing from point 1 to point 8, which is 8. 1 is at 0 plus 0, 0.
Mm-hmm.
And 8, point number 8, is at 8 plus 0, 0. Station. Now the inverse is north 1, 12, 13. And the distance is 799.89. So it's within 11 hundredths, which is not too shabby at 800 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But what's crazy is your first 200 foot was that 1800. See, that was what's crazy. All right, I knew a surveyor. I remember calling his name, and I was working for him at the time. And we were out doing some work for him. And some twins, and they were older than up at the Palms community up near Jonesboro. And they were real sticklers, real hard to please. And so they were following this every footstep, every foot of the way, every chaining, running the compass line. And actually, started off and we were surveying out, I believe it was either a 40 or 80. I noticed more than a 40. So we worked all day, and we were closing in on the corner at the when we started, coming back to close. close. And they were watching everything we did. Of course, I was running the instrument, and we had some chain. And he was the rod man. And so the surveyor, he comes to me on my setup and he says, when I get up to close on the corner, I'm going to move over 2 foot to the left of the corner. And if you give me you holler at me to move over and give me a hand signal, you tell me 2 foot right. And he says, I'm going to come over there with Rod and poop in the corner. That's what I did. 2 foot right on the corner. And they were happy. We didn't close like that. You know, it was just he wanted me to close on that corner so that it wouldn't. I don't remember what our closure was, but it wasn't right on the corner. But he wanted me to close on it so we could keep him happy. So, just a story. That's called the fudge factor. After shooting the baseline, the points we established along the baseline, every 200 feet, we found that comparing RTK ground distances to our chain distances varied. 800 feet it varied.
1200s.
1200s, yeah, and the overall distance. But intermediate points varied. They varied not consistently. So that shows some chaining error. And also, we found that the intermediate points, once we compared it to a straight line from the point of beginning to the point of termination, they were not exactly on the line, but they varied both sides of the line. So it's a compensating effect that the compass has. And that agrees with what Mr. Sight says in his book about compass land surveying and how he had established the baseline and checked it with a wild T2 and found the same thing as far as the intermediate points being both sides of the line compensated. And still within doing rural land surveying, standard of 1 foot a mile, use a mercurial compass or the line can especially so with the rod T0 because it's a much more accurate compass. Even with the staff compass or the night compass that we just use, we're using it with care to meet that criteria.